Hello everyone, and welcome to Highway Blossoms. This is Worm working with the BLM Bundle for racial equality. Let's hit new game. I have a feeling I'm going to have to do a lot of reading for this one. Oh, but it's got animation. I honestly wasn't expecting this much motion, because I think it's a visual novel. I feel like I should put a warning in there though, because the one thing I read on the description was Yuri, which hopefully we won't get anything inappropriate, but warning just in case. Could also be a character's name. I don't know. I just saw the word and went, But this is really pretty. Weird that all the artists only have one name. Maybe it's like their handle on Twitter or something. The music ends. The cassette clicks to a stop. I listened to it so many times, I've even memorized the placement of the static from the song's original broadcasts. Oh, I used to do that, or we would actually record from the radio. I'm worried the deck might eventually eat the tape, but it never happened to him, so no matter how many times he played the damn thing. So I'm not too scared. It used to drive me crazy. Every day he played it over and over again. Sure, he would throw on something different after a few loops, but soon enough he'd switch back and the cycle would repeat itself. Sometimes I think he would just do it just to mess with me. I'd be in the back, in bed, smothering a pillow over my head to block out the music. He would just turn it up louder, even during all-nighters. That was so like him. Even near the end, when he had to finally settle down, he was still pulling that kind of crap. I'm fighting the urge to just quote PT at this. Yeah, he was just that kind of guy. I'd come home from school sometimes, and the police would be at the door because the entire block had called in a noise complaint. Except it was because he was hard of hearing, but I know he did it just to get a rise out of the old grouches who lived nearby. I think that was his worst fear, ending up just another bitter sack of bones. So he did everything in his power to be the exact opposite, right up until the end. Of course, that meant I would always have to deal with the fallout. I can't imagine what the neighbors thought, seeing a little girl go door to door apologizing because some old man decided it would be funny to put plastic flamingos all over their award-winning lawns. I can't help but smile, just a little, even if it does hurt. And yet she's frowning. I take a sip of my coffee. Outside, the heat haze shimmers over the never-ending oceans of sand. So much desert. Even Roswell was just rocks, sand, and a few shacks. All alien-themed, of course. Didn't see any UFOs, though. I'm not used to how dry everything is. Even with the AC on high, enough to rip off my eyebrows, I'm still all sweaty. Guess that's what happens when you laze around in snowy Colorado for a decade. In that regard, the desert is a nice change of scenery. I don't exactly hate it. New sights are nice, especially since his health didn't allow him to do a lot of traveling when I was a little girl. I could see myself getting used to this. Well, maybe in another 15 years, when I have everything paid off. Ah, damn it, Amber. Snap out of it. You can worry about that later. This isn't your trip, so stop being so selfish. I push the eject button. I take the tape out and look it over, probably for the 20th time today. Years worth of brown stains and greasy fingerprints are smudged all over, making it feel grimy to the touch. Still works like a charm, though. There are more cassettes in the glove compartment, a mixture of mine and his, mostly his. I should just play one of those and get it over with. My hand gravitates towards the latch. It would be okay, right? No. I snatch my hand away from the latch and flip the tape over. Once again, I find myself staring. With a sigh, I stick it back into the deck. I reach towards the play button, taking another look to see if the road is still clear. Like always, it... isn't? I slam on the brakes, their shriek piercing my skull. A glance in my rearview mirror shows a girl cringing next to an ancient-looking car, covering her ears as I screech down the road. Making a U-turn of dubious legality, or backing up as the video shows, I pull up in front of her car, killing the motorhome's engine. I hop out and shield my eyes from the blazing New Mexico sun. Only now do I realize how precious the AC really is. It doesn't take more than several steps before the girl comes bouncing up to me with a look of relief.
Oh my god, thank you, thank you, thank you! I was starting to think no one would ever stop.
With each word, she gets a little closer until we're finally within touching distance of each other. Her smiling face now filling my entire field of vision. You don't have peripheral vision? Her bright auburn hair is done in a girlish side tail, glistening beneath specks of sweat. Standing out in the heat has made her round, pale cheeks a sun-kissed red. She still looks put together, like the desert would sooner melt her than do any real damage to her looks. I almost feel embarrassed to be in front of someone who dresses so cutely, her frilly green top and skirt putting my red t-shirt and khakis to shame. Why is she doing this? It's all brought together by one thing, though. Her eyes, they're blue, vividly blue, rich and deep, complementing the trace of her misty perfume as she gets closer and closer. Too close, too close, too close. I scramble back and cough, trying to hide any awkwardness.
No problem.
What's she doing out here alone? Driving through? Hell, is she even alone? I peer off into the plains on the side of the road, half expecting a guy to pop up from his hiding place now that some idiot has fallen for their trap. That idiot being me, of course. But much to my surprise, no one does. Instead, the girl continues to stare at me, smiling as she patiently waits for my response. You already responded! I glance behind her, focusing on her car.
So what's the issue? Your car breakdown?
I think so, yeah. I was driving and I just kind of...
Stop.
Yeah.
She lowers her head in shame, eyes fixated on her feet, kicking the dust around her.
I'm not much of a car buff, but I can take a look at it.
Her head pops back up, and life returns to her eyes.
Oh, wow! Could you?
Yeah. Can't promise that I can do anything, but I can at least check it out.
That'd be great!
Alright, first things first then.
This thing looks even older than my motorhome. It was probably a nice car once upon a time, but with a dented grille, multiple scratches, and faded murky green color, it's hard to believe such a cute girl was driving it. I slide into the fabric seat and start the ignition. I don't know too much about how this stuff works, just enough to keep the motorhome from giving out. But I can't imagine it's too significant of an issue. Probably just a dead battery or... Oof. Was that a breath or was that levitating? No gas. A single car passes by, cooling us with a refreshing gust of wind, sprinkled with dirt and sand. This is a problem for AAA, or USAA, or one of those other car places.
Is something wrong?
Yeah, you're an idiot. Is this a joke?
Oh no, did I break it?
No. It's just out of gas.
What? No way! Dad said I should have filled up before I left.
Is she for real? Why is this girl in the middle of nowhere by herself? As if trying to force all the ideas into the center of her brain, the girl grabs her head and whines under her breath.
Ah, man, and I didn't charge my phone either. What am I gonna do?
I'd offer her mine, but I've never had a cell phone in my life. Seems like you'd have to be pretty absent-minded to forget that, though. She whines once more and turns to me.
Hey, this might seem a little weird,
Oh no.
but could you take me somewhere nearby so I can get some gas?
And what do you know? She actually did it.
How long did you say you've been stuck out here?
I don't know. A few hours, maybe? I've been trying to wave down everyone who drives by, but you were the first to stop.
There are so many services that you... Oh no, her phone's dead, that's right.
Hold on, everyone?
Yep.
This heat must have fried her brain. Does she have any idea how dangerous that is? Standing out in the sun for hours? Yeah, that's can kill you.
Not a good idea, you know.
She cocks her head to the side and gives me a look of genuine curiosity, like it wasn't obvious or something.
Huh? Why?
Well,
Sun exposure.
A cute young girl alone in the middle of the desert? It's just asking for trouble.
But you're a cute young girl alone in the middle of a desert.
Yeah, but she's got a car that works.
What?
Her comeback takes me off guard, and I turn away a little, avoiding eye contact.
Yeah, but that's different.
A smile returns to her face, the same bright one that she showed me when I first pulled over. I'm still avoiding eye contact, but she leans over to the direction I'm looking and continues to smile.
So, do you think you can give me a ride?
I don't know.
I mean, if you're going that way anyway.
It shouldn't take very long.
This girl, it's like she didn't even listen to what I said. Still, better me than some psycho. Besides, it's not like a small detour will make me late or anything. And it's not like psychopaths are actually dangerous, they're just people who have psychopathy, which is hallucinations and stuff like that. It's not...
I guess it's fine. I'm not in too big of a rush anyway.
Before I'm even finished, she's springing off the ground, bouncing to the motorhome. She needs some water.
Hey, wait!
She needs some ice water, because she is going to pass out. But it's already far too late, as she's somehow made her way into the motorhome before its owner, even finding the time to give me a small wave from the passenger seat. I heave a heavy sigh, rubbing my temple as I climb back into the driver's seat. The key is still dangling in the ignition. I wrench it around, and the motorhome roars to life, forcing a surprised squeak out of the girl. Why would she be surprised by that?
By
Alright,
the
because
way,
she's in her
my
head.
name is Marina. Thank you so much for helping me out.
Amber, don't mention it.
Careful not to hit her car, I back the RV up and turn it around, sending us in my original direction. I reach for the play button on the cassette player, finally giving in to temptation, but Marina starts up again.
Why aren't we going the other way? Wasn't there a station a little ways back?
It was more than a little ways back. I saw a sign a few miles ago that said there was a station not too far from here, so we're going there.
Oh wow, I didn't even see that. You're really observant.
Yeah, or you're just really oblivious.
Not really.
Silence falls between us, the roaring of the engine and swishing of the wind from outside being the only sounds. I take that as my cue and reach for the cassette player. Once more, finally give it...
How do you even drive this thing? It's huge!
Marina spreads her arms out like an eagle unfurling its wings, almost bopping me on the head in the process. I clear my throat and grab her arm out from the air, gently placing it on her
It's
lap.
not that bad. You get used to it.
She tilts her head to the side and gives a light grunt as if saying, "That's so," and return to the silence of before. You know, you can play music and talk. Again, I reach the cassette play.
So what are you doing out here? Are you going camping? Seems like what you're doing is fun.
I take a deep breath and hold it on as long as possible before letting it out.
Just traveling.
You're giving someone their last rites.
What about you? Why are you out here?
Oh, well, it's kinda silly.
She scratches her head and lets out an embarrassed laugh before staring at her feet. She quiets down and surprisingly stays quiet. Well, looks like that worked. I reach for the cassette player one last time. I stop for a moment to look at the glove compartment, and then Marina, who looks lost in thought. Finally, I press play. And that takes us to the store. A pleasant little chime greets me as I enter the station, Marina trailing closely behind. The drive was quiet after I turned the music on. Turning the tables on her and asking what she was doing out there seemed to throw her off. I didn't mean to come off as cold as I did. It's just been ages since I've had a conversation beyond accepting some half-hearted condolences. Though to be fair, I haven't really wanted to hold one. The guy behind the counter is busy ringing someone up, so I set out in search of a gas can. And some water because she hasn't had anything to drink and she's been standing in the sun for hours. The store is one of those big mini-mart places, made specifically for travelers. Surprisingly clean for a place surrounded by sand. Every corner has an unnatural, sanitary shine accompanied by the scent of citrus cleaning product.
Hey, they have cola flavor here.
That's like the most common flavor. What? I turn and find Marina clutching the slushy machine, her eyes widening like a cat's when tempted with yarn.
Don't most gas stations have it?
Thank you. She shakes her head, but doesn't take her eyes off of the machine. Why don't you get
All
some?
the places back home only had cherry and raspberry. When we got sick of them, we just had to mix them together. But...
Marina finally turns to me, wearing a face of pure concentrated sadness. She didn't bring her wallet.
I left my wallet in the car.
It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Just looking at her, I can feel my heart break. Wait a second. I would just dump her on the side of the road. Like, no.
How were you expecting to pay for the gas?
I don't know. I just remembered.
How did she last 5 minutes out in the desert? How did she last 5 minutes in her life?
Fine, I guess I'll pay for it.
I actually knew someone who was a lot like this.
Really?
And she is more successful than I am. He's like, wow, great.
Yeah. And grab yourself one of those slushies too. But make it a small one.
Her pure, concentrated sadness melts into pure, concentrated happiness.
You're the best, Amber.
She grabs a cup and holds down the button until the slushy overflows and drips down the side. Ow! I would just leave her. I was going to pay for the gas anyway, but I'm hoping the drink makes up for the drive over. I spot the gas cans, and with Marina happily sipping her drink, grab one and head for the counter. The guy at the register, wow, he looks strange, is still ringing up the same girl. Lines of flimsy plastic bags line the counter, filled with a mixture of off-brand junk food and gardening tools. He scans the items as the girl digs through her wallet, her bandana-wrapped head pressing a phone against her shoulder.
Aren't you supposed to be the badass mechanic? What good are you if you're not?
She swipes out a card and hands it to the cashier, more interested in staring at her nails than looking at him.
The hell would I know? Have the square check underneath if you're so curious.
Why are you dressed like that? On the other end of the line, I can hear the faintest of squabbling. I can't make out anything they're saying, but the tone sounds worlds more tolerable than the girls.
If it's that old, then I say do it. Cash is cash. It's not like anyone's gonna care. Better not take as long as last time, though. I'll be waiting for you slackers outside.
The girl slips her phone back into the crevices of her dangerously unzipped jumpsuit. What little clothing she has on underneath looks like it's going to burst from the slightest movement. Not my type, especially with that personality, but it's hard for me to do anything other than stare. The attendant reaches out to help with the bags, but the girl snaps them away before he can. He shoots him away with a heated glare that burns straight through the man and into the wall behind him. Turning around, the girl looks at us for a second before rolling her eyes and marches out the door, the bags weighing her down as they nearly scrape the ground. Yeah, definitely not my type. Weird, I don't think that kind of stuff around every person I pass in my life. And I'm him, so...
Good luck.
Rita and I set the can and nearly empty slushy on the counter.
Will that be all?
Yeah, sorry if we're more boring than that other girl.
The attendant hacks out a dry cackle and scans the gas can. He flicks his oily ponytail behind his shoulder, then brings up Marina's drink.
And a lot of folks passing through and stocking up the past few days. It's been a good change of pace. I'm guessing that's why you girls are here too.
Marina eases in towards the counter, nudging herself tightly between me and the rack, her hands creeping over to the slushy.
For what? I'm just heading out to California.
If I don't end up driving myself insane first.
You mean you don't know?
Nope. The attendant freezes, forgetting about the scanner in his hand, blinding red light beams from it onto my chest.
About what?
Why, the treasure.
Marina's hand stopped just shy of grabbing the cup.
Treasure?
The clerk's chubby face morphs into a grin.
You telling me that you girls haven't heard of the treasure in the journal?
I have.
I frown, embarrassed. Marina looks at the floor again, her cheeks flushing red. I guess she's always just this forward.
Oh, well, I heard about it on the news. It's kind of why I drove down here.
You drove out into the middle of the desert for treasure? Sorry, but you've lost me.
Not just any treasure, Missy. The miner's treasure.
He says it like that should clarify what he meant. I stare at him. He stares back. Marina sips the last dregs of her slushy. You know, most of the places have refills. So she can probably get more slushy.
Not a clue. Are you gonna change that?
A little feisty, ain't you?
Not really. Just have stuff to do.
Fair enough. A little while back, some folks were going through all the trash in their garage. As fate would have it, they came across an old journal. Turns out the thing belonged to their great uncle. Or maybe it was their great grandfather. I don't know. Some dead old man.
I cut him off with a cough, a polite hint for him to either get on with it or quit his yammering. Despite apparently knowing all this, Marina continues to stay focused with rapt attention. Sometimes her drink makes that annoying slurping sound again. I just realized that I could click through the texts.
Sorry. I'll try keeping it short.
So I don't have to, have those awkward pauses.
Anyway, after flipping through it, they found out that he'd struck it rich during the gold rush.
If he struck it rich, then wouldn't the family know about it? They'd have to be pretty well off, right?
Oh, I can answer that. He went back home to Missouri without any gold and told all his friends he hid it.
By now, the slushy is all gone. Marina tries for one last sip, but all that's stuck through the straw is air. She peers down into the cup and blows out a small sigh.
No one believed him, though.
I raise an eyebrow. If even this girl knows about it, then I must be more out of the loop than I thought.
Well now, looks like sister here has been doing her research.
Mm-hmm.
She's not my sister. The attendant leans into the counter and smirks.
Story goes, he wanted to eventually move his family out west and dig his gold back up along the way, but
He slides his thumb along his neck and makes the cheesy sound effects to go with it. Marina giggles, but I just keep staring.
the folks that found the journal ended up selling it to some hotshot publishing house. Now everyone wants to retrace his steps and find the treasure.
This is a true story.
Shipments
think.
have been selling like hotcakes. Just got ours last week.
I'm pointing to a rack of identical books sitting by the door. A sign hanging above it reads, Treasure of the Desert, a miner's journey. Take part in the new gold rush. Yeah, that'll stick in people's heads.
And people are really buying into this?
Sure are. I've worked here for over 20 years, and never have I seen this many people passing through. Even the Banshee before you was here for some supplies and a journal.
Sure, okay. This is a host if I've ever seen one.
And where is this supposed treasure?
No one knows. It's all scattered around the desert. They say the journal has hints to its whereabouts.
Uh-huh. Marina, you said this is why you drove out here.
Yep, that's right.
But you don't really believe that treasure exists, do you?
Sure I do.
She pauses to think.
At least, I want to. But wouldn't it be super cool if there was treasure?
Sure, it would be cool. But there's a good chance there isn't. And even if there were, do you know where to start looking?
No, not really. I never got that far. I don't even have a copy of the journal.
She lowers her head, like she knows there's a good chance what I'm saying is true.
But I have to try.
Her voice is soft and quiet, but there's a faint glow of determination behind it. It makes me feel ashamed for scolding, but the idea that she dropped everything for treasure is insane. To her credit, she did a little research, but that's cancelled out by driving into the desert without a full tank of gas. She wasn't prepared at all. The people who care about her must be worried sick. I barely even know her, and I'm worried.
Aw, don't be too hard on her, Missy. After all, who could resist a good treasure hunt?
Amber, apparently. He looks at Marina and gives a big, gummy grin, courtesy of his missing teeth.
Ain't that right, sister?
Marina springs back with a smile of her own.
That's right!
Rolling my eyes, I reach into my pocket and pass some crumpled bills to the clerk.
Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it.
He shrugs and stuffs the cash in the register, though now I'm just paying for the tank and an empty cup. I pocket the change. We have a casual wave from the exit. That should be good enough, thank you. Marina follows, though, a bit more animated, waving her arm like a fan as she says goodbye.
And sister,
Yeah?
you go ahead and take one of them journals. Free of charge.
Those are like $20.
Really?
Marina lights up like a firecracker and bounces up and down like she's a kid again.
Yup.
Pretty sure she is a kid.
Oh, wow! Thanks, mister!
In one swift motion, she swipes one of the remaining books off the rack so fast that I swear my eyes are skipping frames. She's probably gonna steal one otherwise.
Look, he gave me one for free.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I see it.
I tune out her chattering and nod as we walk out to the parking lot so we can finally get the fuel. The attendant shouts on one last thing, his voice fading behind him, behind the glass of the closing door.
Look on your trip.
Desert people are weird. But yeah, I think this is a true story. I think this is, I think they talked about it on BuzzFeed Unsolved, and they actually looked for the treasure a bit.
Maybe it's further up the road?
I can't believe it. It's gone.
We could have just passed it.
We weren't even away that long. How can it be gone?
We stare at the empty space that once housed a certain ugly green car. I look in every conceivable direction, but there's nothing but an ocean of sand and never-ending stretch of road. Was it towed? No, not out here. Not this quick.
Where the hell did it go?
Yeah, that is kind of weird, isn't it?
Marina's hand rests against her cheek as she looks on with only mild confusion, like she's trying to solve a small mystery, like where her car went.
Your car is missing! That's more than a little weird.
Well, it's actually my big brother's car. He just lent it to me when he left for college.
Oh, well that makes everything better then.
Really?
Yep, I knew someone who just like this.
No!
I let out a heavy sigh and pressed my fingers to my temple, attempting to massage away the stress and irritation.
It was probably stolen. We'll need to call the police. You have a phone, right?
I do, but...
Her voice trails off a cliff. What she said earlier echoes in my head.
That's right. You said it was dead. And I'm guessing you left it in your car.
Yeah.
Well, that's just great.
Don't you have one?
Nope, never needed one.
Afraid no one would call you?
I'm afraid people will call me.
Not quite.
I shield my eyes and look up at the dry sky. Its color shifted to a glowing orange as sunset begins to settle over the distant valley peaks. It's going to get dark pretty soon.
Don't worry, Amber. I would call you.
can't just leave her. She's an idiot. And if she did have her phone, it would take her forever before anyone could get out here. She'd go from burning up in the heat to freezing out in the cold within a few hours. Plus, if there are people around who would steal cars, then there's no telling who else is out here. I can already see how all of this would go down. She would be huddled on the side of the road trying to keep warm. Pack of coyotes would be howling all around her, closing in. Then from the road, a starved creep would pull up in a trashy old pickup truck, open his door to her, and... oh god.
Hey, where are you from? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, I'm from Carlsbad.
She pauses for a moment.
Or at least kinda close to it. It's a little out of the way.
Carlsbad? You're from California?
The place I'm going? That's
No,
convenient.
silly. Carlsbad, New Mexico.
Oh, right.
Had me go in there for a second.
How far is that?
Maybe 2 hours from here?
Wow, you didn't get very far at all, did you?
Marina lowers her head in shame.
I never really seem to.
Because you're a dummy. Though I'm not really one to talk, I've been on the road less than a day. Would have gotten further if traffic on the I-40 wasn't such a pain in the butt. Or if I didn't pick up Marina.
Hey, listen. You don't live too far away. If you want, I can probably give you a lift back home.
I prep myself for an explosion of thankful energy and excitement. But there isn't one. Instead, she continues to stare at the ground, her hands now balled up in a fist as she fidgets over ever so slightly.
Something wrong?
She shifts her gaze from the ground and looks me straight in the eyes, drawing a deep, long breath.
Remember the treasure we were talking about at the store?
Yeah.
I know it's a lot to ask, and you've already helped me out so much already. But do you think you could take me to the first place the treasure is?
Huh?
She wants to keep going, even after this entire disaster?
The treasure! Could you take me to the first?
I heard you the first time. It's just... You don't even know if this thing is real, but you've dropped everything to go look for it. And now you're asking me, someone you've just met out in the middle of the desert, to take you to it. Even though you don't know if it's real and you've just had your car stolen. Did I catch all that?
Uh-huh.
Shameless. I'm at a loss for words. How did I even respond to that? I try to recollect my thoughts, but only one word comes to mind.
Why?
Rena shrugs. Nothing more than that. She just shrugs. I take a look at her. A good look. Her wavy hair is stick straight, has been dried out by the hot desert air. Her face is red and drenched in sweat, probably close to melting off her makeup. Even her nice clothes are a little ruffled. But despite all that, this cute, pipey girl wants to keep pressing on, even when most people would have just called it quits after the car broke down. You're not here all by yourself. For all I know, she could be some weirdo out to mug me, and this is all some elaborate scheme. But she wants my help. My help. It's been a while since anyone has needed that. It's like an honor. Do I deserve that? Probably not. No, but you deserve better. But she's still asking. Why should I say no? I don't have to be in California for another few weeks, and isn't that why I'm taking this trip, to see the sights for him? She's a little excitable and even more naive, but maybe I need a little bit of that. It's a lot better than just being out here all by myself with nothing but the ghosts of my memories to keep me company, even if it's just for a little while.
Why the hell not? Hop in.
For real?
Yeah, for real. But only until the first location. After that...
The breath is forced out of me by the sharp impact of Marina tackling my stomach. A warm but damp sensation wraps itself tightly around me, a dead weight, and snuggles up against my chest.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you!
What are you doing?
I'm hugging you, silly.
My cheeks grow warmer with each passing second. I try to wiggle my way out, but she stays latched on. her grip getting tighter and tighter until you're dead.
Marina, please. You're all sweaty.
Sorry. I'm just super happy.
She unlatches herself, letting me clear my throat and recollect myself.
Anyway, let's get inside. I'm burning up out here.
Okay, so that is time. It's been time for 5 minutes. But I was hoping for some gameplay or the ability to actually hit a button, make a choice in this game. Once again, visual novel would be much better if it was a comic or a book, because I don't understand how this is a game, but that's alright. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you all have a great day. Adios.